Welcome to the FX Options Weekly Outlook, a weekly podcast series hosted by Jason Ayres, a top instructor, trader, and founder of OptionSource.net. Join Jason as he discusses the latest trends in the Forex market with a look ahead on the US dollar versus the major currencies using the most commonly used technical indicators.
Hi there and welcome to the ISE FX Options Weekly Outlook for December 5th, 2011. As always, this is Jason Ayres of OptionSource.net. Let's start off with a look at the weekly chart of the US dollar index. This is a great way to gain perspective as to how the dollar has been trading against a basket of currencies. Well, last week ended with a slight reversal off of the lows. However, the US dollar lost considerable ground against most of the majors. 78 held as support, and provided it holds again this week, the next upside target for the US dollar index sits at the 80-81 focal zone. Failure to hold 78 opens the window for a much bigger sell-off. Let's take a quick look at the daily chart. The daily chart reflects the near-term support sitting at 78, with the next target to the downside sitting at 77. Next up, the CDD, the US versus the Canadian dollar. Well, the CDD continued to drop, testing 101 for support. Now, after such a significant sell-off, we may see a bounce and subsequent retracement up to 103. However, a break below 102 opens the window for a continuation lower towards 100. Next up, the YUK, the US versus the Japanese yen. Well, the YUK consolidated within the 77.5, 78 zone, and a break above 78 opens the window for a move higher. A break below 77.5 is likely to retest 77. Let's take a look at the US dollar versus the euro as seen here in the ISE FX Options pair value EUI. Well, the EUI pulled back to test 74 and reversed at the end of last week. However, we may see a pullback deeper into the 73-74 support zone. Now, failure to hold 73 opens the window for a much deeper sell-off, with the 70-71 focal zone as the next logical support level. 75-76 remains a key overhead resistance. Next up, the BPX, the US dollar versus the British pound. Well, the BPX pulled back to the 63.5 support level and bounced. 65 remains a key overhead resistance. A break below 63.5 will likely test 62.5 for support. Let's take a look at the US dollar versus the Australian dollar as seen here in the ISE FX Options pair value AUX. Well, the AUX lost considerable ground last week, testing 97 for support. Now, a bounce here could retrace as high as 98.99 this week. Failure to hold the 96.97 support zone opens the window for a much deeper sell-off. Let's take a look at a few of our key points. First of all, the US dollar index pulled back as anticipated, while 78 should act as support. A break below opens the window for a continuation to the downside. The CDD also lost some ground last week. The 101-102 zone should act as support. A break below 101 is likely to yield a move back down to 100. The YUK pulled back slightly midweek, but remains within our 77.5, 78 focal zone. A break above 78 opens the window to a continuation to the upside. The EUI pulled back moderately and now sits at the 74 zone. Despite the bounce at the end of last week, we are open to a deeper pullback down to 73. BPX pulled back to 63.5 as anticipated. A break below 63.5 should signal further weakness. The AUX pulled all the way back to 97. We're going to a bounce this week with 99 as a realistic target. Below 97 lends credibility to further weakness. And this has been your ISE FX Options Weekly Outlook for December 5th, 2011. As always, this is Jason Ayres of OptionSource.net, reminding you to sign up for your free workshop at www.optionsource.net. Thanks for joining me here this week. We'll see you here next week.
Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. For trading ideas, exchange rates, webinars, news, and commentary, visit www.fxoptions.com. Become an OptionSource.net member. Visit www.optionsource.net. ISE FX options can be easily traded through all options-enabled brokerage accounts. These exchange-listed securities are cash-settled in US dollars and have a European-style exercise.